Well, there's the playoff performance of you have the best stats that'll ever be done by a Moose goalie.
Can't beat that.
I mean, unless a miracle happens.
Unless someone gets 21 saves in one period.
And then never touches the ice again,
Yeah.
which is historic. But so you get called up to the Jets, though, for
like a couple days.
Basically their first ever playoff run post-Atlanta.
Yeah.
27.
As a Black Ace. I was called up during the year as kind of like a paper transaction first, which is actually, this is a story I've never told anyone the story. We were in Laval, and I remember we were at like one of the malls close to the hotel, and Zinger called me and was like, hey, this is what's going to happen. We're going to call you up. You know, it's the All-Star break, so you're going to get to home, but you're going to get NHL money and all these things. And I said, do I have to get called up? Which sounds stupid. And I say that now, and the words come out of my mouth. I'm like, that sounds so stupid. But I was this mindset that I was always one good game away from like earning a reputation of being great. And I think that there was a plan for me to start when I was in one of the games in Laval, and I wanted that. So like I wanted to start that game in Laval and win and do well, and then people being like, okay, yeah, like Jamie can play, he's got it. And I was willing at that point to give up over the course of a couple of days, like 5 figures of money, because I wanted to stay in the American League and play a game and do well and earn that.
But it wasn't about the money, though. It wasn't
about the money. It's like, yeah, but that's just the way I was wired. Like, I always just wanted to earn my spot, and I always thought that, like, if I do this, I'm going to be better. And if I do this, I'm going to be better. And, you know, we talked before in the past where, like, you know, they said, like, you did everything, and you earned an opportunity, we didn't give it to you.
Which we'll get to.
Which you didn't get to. But that was my mentality. Like, that was the way I was wired, is I had to earn it. And, you know, I look back, and, yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, I got some money, and a little bit of money, and a little bit more money than I would have made than if I stayed in the American League. But I also think, like, maybe what if I did play that night, that Friday, and played well, and then I played that Saturday, and all of a sudden it's my job. That would never have happened. That you look at how hockey works, and that never would have happened in my situation. But I didn't know that, and I truly believe that I was that one game away. And that's a story I never told anyone before.
Well, what do they say? Hindsight is 50-50?
Yeah, it's something like that. But
considering
no,
regular
hindsight
vision
2020.
No, that's what I'm saying. Regular vision is 20/20. Hindsight is 50-50.
Yeah, not great. But yeah, that was just the way that I was wired. That you get what you put in, and I got what I put in to the point where I got what I put in, and got me to the point where sometimes it doesn't matter what you put in to get the rest, if that makes sense. And that's just life, and with it. And
well, your equation was A plus B equals C. You're controlling A, but what is B?
Yeah, now you got to add in some brackets and exponents, and now you're talking about bedmas in the equation. There's a lot into it. You
only have one number in the equation.
Yeah, now you're dealing with letters and stuff. So it's, you know, you're not dealing with numbers but letters, and that's weird. But I think I actually can look in that moment and kind of like, hopefully someone sees this and listens to this and goes like, that's a cool mindset, because hopefully other people are willing to like sacrifice and grind for that opportunity, because that's all I wanted was to earn it. Like, I just want to earn it. Mm-hmm. Just give me a start, let me play. Give me a start, let me play.
We get called up again later in the season though for the playoffs.
Yeah, like 14 times. So
we'll get to the American League stuff and the East Coast stuff. But so you get called up for the Jets playoff run though.
Black Ace.
2018.
Yeah.
So was it just you, or did Combs and Hutch get up to?
No, just me. Just me until Steve Mason went down, and then they panicked and sent me down and called up Connery.
Oh shit! This guy's
like, oh no, we might have to play him. Let's get him out of here. That was actually so disappointing. I saw Mason go down in warm-ups in Minnesota, and I was like, oh yeah, like you never know.
This is good.
You never know. And then immediately, like, yeah, we're flying you back to Manitoba, but we're bringing up comms. I was like, oh crap.
Hutchinson wasn't around at that point?
No, maybe they did. Oh, they did. No, you're right. They brought up Hutch, and because Comms and I would have went to Manitoba for playoffs. You're right. They brought up Hutch to back up, and then it was Comms playing against Grand Rapids. I think it was like 2 out of 3 of the first round, and then Comms got yanked. I had my legendary stat line, and then we went and then got shellacked in Grand Rapids. They were so good that year. Jimmy Howard was on the team that year.
In the American League?
Yeah.
Because Peter Mrazek took his job. I remember that.
He was last year. I played against Jimmy Howard and my stats were better than him. So
Not bad.
you tell me.
Hey, I messaged with Jimmy Howard to come on the show.
Yeah, if your sample size is really small and it's good, your stats look great.
I told Jimmy, hey, come on the show. I never heard a response back, so you know whose side I'm on. But
he's somewhere. I think he works with Little Caesars hockey. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I'm on the east side and I cross paths, I'll put your name out there.
yeah, I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got good stories.
This is a non-mainstream, pro common sense hockey podcast.
That's true.
So, but do you remember the moment though when you get called up to be Black Ace? When you get the call?
Yeah, it wasn't as illustrious because you're not like you're still number 3. And again, I wanted to play in playoffs. Like, what if Comrie didn't play well? Now's my chance. Playoffs. Like, you ride the guy that's hot. I wanted to be the guy that was hot. So I would have rather have stayed in the American League and waited for an opportunity that probably wouldn't have come.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, but probably wouldn't have come. But I was willing to risk that because I wanted to earn it. I wanted to put up some numbers so that I resign or someone else signs me and I get that NHL opportunity. But that's just the way like I said, that's the way I was wired.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember though? So you get called up. You're on the private jet to Minnesota.
Oh, the buff story that everyone on the internet.
We can redo those ones. I was going to ask, what did you order on the plane for food? But yeah, we can talk about Buff and Patrick Laine too.
I definitely ordered lamb because I'm a big lamb guy. And
remember the options though? So actually, no. Why don't we do this? Take me from start to finish. So
we do a hockey podcast called Sling the Biscuit every single Sunday. The clips, the bite-sized chunks are right here. Only the hits, the full-length show, which you don't want to miss, is right here. That's Dave. I'm Travis. We'll see you soon.